Here we go, fellas. Welcome Monday.
Wait, where's Bell End?
He's not here. I haven't heard from him today. Maybe he's enjoying a nice bolache.
A what now?
Monday, August the 2nd. Brian Bentley, Hank Alexandre, Mark Booby Villa joining us. Hello, fellas. By the way, it is National Booby Day. Is that where you got that from?
Well, I was thinking about Booby Miles too, just because I want to be called Booby.
And you would like to see miles of boobies. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. One team did the unthinkable. Another team did the unthinkable. But, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then you have another team not doing anything, and then a team that's really doing a lot.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I have a jar of mayonnaise. That's a reference for Tyler. Nice hat, Mark, by the way.
Thank you. This is like one of 4 that I have now that I just wear for trash because the stitching is so bad on it.
Correct.
Is that Mark? AFC Richmond?
AFC Richmond.
Yeah, but the stitching on the AFC Richmond is so ghetto. It was a bootleg thing off Etsy, so I got like 4 hats for the price of one because they were so bad.
Yetsy.
Perfect, though.
Yeah.
Top of the table brought to you by AFC Richmond.
The Bolache Crunch.
Well, Bolache. That's right. Who wants to enjoy a nice Bolache Crunch? And speaking of Ballard, it was his birthday last week. So happy Bolache, Chris Ballard.
Happy Bolache.
Happy Bolache, Bell End.
So there's our hashtag. Happy Bolache, Bell End. HAPPY BALLACHEBELLEND. Happy Bolache, Bell End.
It's not the Beloche.
That nobody will use. Hey, over under. What do you think? What do you think's the highest view we've had on any of these shows on YouTube?
17.
Wrong.
In this country or in Africa?
Oh, we're huge in Africa on Twitter.
People love us in Greece and in Portland.
No, we have a very large Nigerian following on Twitter.
Do we now?
It is the weird. Oh. Stand by.
You gonna do ladies first?
All right.
We're getting some meaningful stats here.
There are some of the.
There's Nigerian royalty following us on Twitter. It's
all I know. All I know is that whenever that prince can't transfer his money, I got him on Twitter.
Nice.
Ladies first. So we've missed what is essentially 3 weeks. I was gone to Delta World last week with the family, so I apologize for the 2 of you that actually realized that the podcast didn't show up, the 2 being the guys that are here. So ladies first, I've got the North Carolina Courage are 5th in the table at 18 points. They tied KC on the 23rd. Then they tied Orlando.
Still winless, KC.
KC was and KC was a 0-0 draw. They tie Orlando 1-1 on the 31st with both goals coming 2 minutes apart, which was a pretty exciting sequence. You can see that on the NSL website. But again, they're essentially tied for 4th. They're tied. They've got 18 points along with Washington. My security system's going on.
Yep.
Are there Mexicans in the neighborhood?
No. It's a callback to a previous text message Mark sent me earlier today.
It could be worse, right?
How's Rossing?
Rossing, I mean, it could be worse. It could be Kansas City.
It's true.
Right. They're second from the bottom, 11 points. Game in hand in Kansas City. So, there you go.
That goal differential, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but they just let that just increased by almost 50% in the last 2 games where they let in 2 goals each game. And frankly,
Louisville with a minus 10 goal differential for those of you not playing along.
So you do the math. That was 4 goals they allowed in the last 2 games. So they were at minus 6 goal differential, and so it's gone up almost 100%.
Oof!
Yeah. So not good, not great. I was hoping for more. Good, this the new attacking midfielder, Nadia Nadim has a great pedigree and a very good reputation. So hopefully, just taking a little bit of time to click, get things going, and then we'll start to see some productivity. But I feel like the defense is suffering, and the offense is anemic.
Ballard's not here, so we'll discuss his New York, New Jersey, Gotham. They are second in the table, and they've got a game in hand. They're a +6 goal differential, 20 points, tied with Chicago. Here's something I found interesting. Chicago has 13 games. They have a -3 goal differential, but are third in the table. They beat Chicago, and that was after beating Chicago. Chicago beating Washington, yesterday 3-1. So, they were sitting third at the table with a -5 goal differential. That's crazy. But before we get to Mark, I want to point out some games that are coming this Saturday. New York, New Jersey is going to play North Carolina, and Washington, who sits fourth in the table, will be playing Mark's Portland Thorns. Give us the update, my friend.
We won 2-0 yesterday. I'd love to give you more information than that, but unfortunately my wife hounded me with some
so you couldn't watch the game.
Talk about work while I was trying to watch the game, and yeah. If you know my wife and work, I had to devote full attention to my wife, as you do. It's what you do. But yeah, the Thorns are doing great. They're amazing. I'm hopeful. I'm to see French and Haran come back in and do their thing, and hopefully not have a hangover from this poor performance in the Olympics, as with all players returning to NWSL. It's been a good, Thorns are great. I don't know what else to say. They're good. I was shocked a couple weeks ago.
Is that your ringtone?
Yeah. Don't fuck with Herb Alpert, man. No. A couple weeks ago, I was watching St. Louis. Was it Kansas City and St. Louis? Who was it? And they just Utah became Kansas City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's no St. Louis.
There's no St. Louis. There was Kansas City, Washington, but they swapped 4 players the night before. It was a 4-player swap the night before. So those teams were playing against those players were playing against their old team the next day.
It wasn't this, but it was this.
It wasn't this. It went from this, or I guess it went from this to that. And these 4 teams were, I'm not very dexterous there. Anyway, it was just weird because Amy Rodriguez played for Kansas City one day, and the next day she was playing against them. And because it was, to me, fascinating because of the trade, the way it went down, injuries. One of the teams only had 1 keeper. They had no keeper in reserve, and it just threw me off. And I was like, wow, that sucks for them. But, hey, it happens. It's a small league as far as footprint number of teams, so limited player pool. What are you going to do? Things happen. I don't have a lot to say because I missed most of my game the other day. So I don't know. I'm just filling time.
I haven't watched it.
Where I thought that story
the Olympics started. So,
the phone call I made to you in the car? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that on air. I know better.
I had to explain that to my family that was in the car.
It was horrible. I know. Melinda, I'm a terrible person.
Melinda, Google this. And it's just. So remember how my kids answered the phone and Melinda ended the call?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, I stand by that now.
It was deserved.
Right.
It was deserved.
That was funny.
It was great.
We had a light load this week. I'm going to talk about the women's upset today. With the 1-0 upset over the women's national team.
But it wasn't an upset. Which, okay. Yeah.
Like, let me rephrase that.
Tierney touched her.
If we're talking by names, like Canada beat US, that's an upset. But you and I talked about this earlier on the phone, Mark. the U.S. team, they look very lethargic this entire Olympics.
I asked a friend of mine, it's like, did they show up with jet lag and just have not recovered yet? Because that's the way they played. Like they had jet lag, then they had
The
food
only game they
poisoning,
convincingly won
and then
was
they got
against
spinal
New Zealand.
bifida, and then something else happened. It was like they had a first touch like a priest in a preschool. It was just horrible. They had no first touch.
All over balls at that point.
They had no. I mean,
Seriously.
Okay. Do not take this. I am not criticizing them. They are by far more talented than I could ever be playing a sport. I have utmost respect for them.
Here comes the butt.
But what the hell happened? It wasn't them. They were not playing like themselves. Yeah, Sweden figured them out and handed their asses to them. They should have recovered in full after that, especially after that New Zealand game. They should have come out and for no other purpose than to prove that they could, bitch slapped Australia all over that pitch. And they didn't. Because they couldn't. Right. And they I honestly, last night, they were playing a game of attrition and hoping they could get to PKs and pull it off again. That was evident in like the 63rd minute, But I mean, okay, let's go to that penalty. If you watch it, that lady left her feet to try and jump over Davidson to get to the ball. Davidson doesn't, I'm assuming from the way that the camera angles looked, has no idea she's there, is trying to play the ball. And was it Rose? Jumps into her leg as she's kicking.
Jumped right onto it.
So
I don't see how how you can call that a foul against.
I don't. I don't see that at all. I mean, I could see how a really bad referee who didn't know what they were doing would call that a penalty. I could see a pro referee doing that in every game. But seriously, that was, I mean, hey, kudos to Canada. They held the scoreless, whatever, fine. But there are bigger fish to fry. Who's going to get left off, for qualifying for next year?
Hey, speaking of big fish, let me interrupt with some very urgent breaking news.
Oh,
the end.
It's the bad end.
It's Balachi.
Happy Balache, Chris.
Hi, Balache.
Hello. I think it's pronounced ball egg.
That would have a hyphen.
We don't have on the right side of the road. It's Balache.
It's Balache.
This week, we had already discussed it was your birthday. This week's hashtag is Happy Balache Bell End for those.
Thank you. Yeah, very nice.
People that want to join us.
It was a good one.
We already covered our ladies' first segment. I threw in your New York, New Jersey, Gotham's recent run. We were talking about the U.S. women's team performance today, but also overall
unconvincing.
Yes,
I guess would
be.
It's
terrible. And you know what, Mark? Even if they don't call that penalty, I still don't think it would have mattered. And if they go on to win and play for the gold, it's still a lackluster performance.
Yeah, because they're going to play Sweden.
Yeah.
And
can we also call out a little bit? Lynn Williams had a really good game against Netherlands, I guess, right? And so she gets the start. I don't see that. I really don't. I mean, I think when you're going up against Canada, you got to play the people who know Canada the best. And you're looking at people like Press on the bench. That just confused the hell out of me. And
there were a lot of questionable calls with lineups. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just didn't, we can second guess it all the time, but when you have a talent like Christine Press on the bench and, Mewis and other people that have had proven success against Canada.
They're trying to pack a lot of games in a very short amount of time. So that does create roster.
But that goes for everybody. I mean, yes, I get it. I appreciate that. And to Haig's point, not only lineup decisions, but lineup performances. I mean, in that Netherlands game, and I am a Rapinoe fanboy till I die. I love her. She does no wrong in my book. But that Netherlands game, Megan came in. I think it was Megan Rapinoe, Press, and was it Tobin Heath who came in the second half
for the burst? Already on.
I don't remember. It's all a fog now, but
It was
those
Alex
three,
Morgan.
was it Alex Morgan? Yes. And they were supposed to come on and, use
Light
their
it up.
speed, use their ability and light it up. None of them ran.
None of them.
None of them performed. They had terrible touch. I hate to be so simplistic, but I really question, did they just show up with jet lag and never recovered? Because I can't figure out what else happened.
Pino was not convincing for any of the minutes that she put in. I think people forget that because of the penalty she scored in the shootout against the Netherlands, which was tremendous.
Right.
Right, but
but it kind of wipes away the rest of the stuff that
and poor Abby Dahlkemper just had a howler of a match against Netherlands. My God. Holy God, she coughed up more balls than Richard Simmons. I mean, there was just bad, errant, weak passes everywhere. And, it was no surprise to me that Tiernan Davidson started in place for her against Canada. I was getting up at 4 a.m. to watch these goddamn games. Come on. Holy crap.
It's 1 a.m. your time. Don't give
Last night, the last one was 4 a.m.
Yeah. I was 4 a.m. today, which is why I'm tired right now. But
yeah.
No, I didn't get it. I don't understand. I didn't understand the lineup changes. I thought he was tinkering a little too much with the lineup. But again, we can't blame it. Those people should have been able to convert.
Yeah.
Some opportunity with the talent they had.
I will give props
available.
to Kelly O'Hara and Crystal Dunn. Those two ladies ran their asses off every match. They put in great balls. They had accurate passing. They were really on top of it, and no one else was playing up to par with them. I honestly think Kelly O'Hara and Crystal Dunn were the top two players at the Olympics for us. Still are. We still have a bronze to play for.
I think Crystal Dunn today was really, really amazing today. But I think she had a pretty crap game against the last one and whatever it was before Netherlands.
Australia.
Before Netherlands. Australia.
Everybody had a crap game though against Australia. I mean, even just watching that second half when Australia would spend literally 7 minutes kicking the ball across their back four. And we would just let them, if you're going to, props to Julie Foudy for calling that game and just being outraged at, constantly saying, this is not what we do. This is not how we built this program.
But I'm so tired of Julie Foudy.
Great.
She's been saying that since like 2004. This isn't what we do. This isn't what we do.
But hey, she's got a point, man. I mean, she can say it as far as I'm concerned and she was right the other night against Australia.
So here's the way the show works. Both the listeners know the way it works. I will ask a series of questions, and my panelists will give quick, uninformed, or quick and uninformed answers. It's going to be a short list today. Question number 1: the U.S. women's team won't be playing for gold. Is this the end of the Rapinoe-Lloyd era? If so, who do you see making those replacements, Hank?
I actually asked the same question on Twitter today. It's a very good question. I don't know who's going to be replacing Carly Lloyd. There's nobody that comes to mind. Maybe it's somebody like Trinity Rodman eventually. But yeah, I think Rose Lavelle could be a Megan Rapinoe. So she plays a lot more centrally than Megan does. So questionable.
Do you think, and this is a side question I want to throw that's like a 1B, without Megan Rapinoe, is she kind of the harbinger of the team? Like she's the face, she's the personality, she's the one that's kind of keeping them newsworthy? Because if you don't have a big personality like Rapinoe, but you're still winning trophies. You know what I'm saying?
If it wasn't Rapinoe, it would have been Alex Morgan.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if it wasn't Rapinoe, it would have been the exact opposite of Rapinoe. It would have been the soccer mom.
In some way, she's the lightning rod for the team, isn't she? Like a lot of the perception of the women's program, outside of those who really normally care about soccer, she's the lightning rod. And I think if she her career at the international level ends. Like, I don't think she'll be there for the World Cup in 2 years. That might help the program get away from some of the and I think what she's done in that arena is tremendous, but I'm sure in some level it can be a distraction.
Right. And I don't think Alex Morgan's going to win Baller of the Year. But
and whenever the US loses now, it's because it's Rapinoe's fault. If you believe a certain section of Twitter or
of America,
yeah. I think she'll go on to do great things outside of the game. I think she'll always be a voice, which I think is required. But to your original question, Kylie Lloyd is one of those players who I don't think is hugely appreciated. Even though she's appreciated as one of the best ever, it's still almost that she's undervalued. Does that make any sense? Like, we all know how great she is, but also we don't know how great she is. And until she's gone, we're not really going to be aware, because she's been doing it for a decade plus. I don't know who replaces her. I think Hank was right. I think Lavelle can replace Rapinoe. I think she could become the face of the team. Or again, I think you've mentioned Trinity Rodman, who has been doing some amazing things of late.
Yes.
And she's very exciting.
Mark?
And, just that young talent come through. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Hank. Go ahead. Finish up.
No, I'm done. I've said my piece.
Okay. I was going to say, I think it is the beginning of the end of the era. I think we saw in this tournament. Well, again, I can't speak to it. I don't know, because they played better than this a month ago. Obviously, against much weaker opponents, but they've played better than this quite recently. So it's the beginning of the end of the era, and I think a lot of people, who are maybe to a certain degree off center politically and socially, will blame Megan Rapinoe for everything they possibly can, no matter what. It doesn't matter. I do not personally blame her for the way the team played in this tournament. It's not her fault. She was one of 18 who played poorly overall. It was just a lackluster performance. Who replaces Megan Rapinoe at some point in time? I don't know. Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, Moultrie, the 15-year-old girl playing at Portland. There are a multitude. Midge Purse. Oh my God. There are a multitude of women who could play, who can step in, and who are ready. We'll never have
Emily Fox coming up. She could be a winger.
Is still there.
The talent is there.
Right way.
It's got to be developed the right way. I don't think Vlatko's the guy to develop it. I think he's someone to manage it. But yeah, this is the beginning of the end of the cycle, and that's okay. It has to happen.
Yeah,
we're never going to replace Carly Lloyd or Megan Rapinoe on and off the field, personality and play combined. Megan was lightning in a bottle. We'll never get that. We'll get something close to it in another player, but never Megan. Carly Lloyd's grit, determination, foulness, for lack of a better word, in the way she plays. Yeah. We'll never get that again, but we'll get something.
He was
similar.
out running wind sprints after the game today.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I think about, we forget. Carly Lloyd really stepped up and took the spot of Abby Wambach. Right? When Abby left this big void for a couple of years, we didn't have anybody in there. Carly Lloyd stepped up. She started delivering. Alex Morgan did too for a while. I'm not going to say motherhood got in the way of that, but those two basically are playing the same position: center, target, forward. Except where Alex Morgan runs to the ball and uses her speed. Carly just uses her grit, like you said, Mark. She just that was, if I was going to say who's more like Abby Wambach, I would have said Carly Lloyd.
Absolutely. And I don't know, Hank, if it was you or if it was someone else or someone close to us tweeted today that year off really, really kicked him in the ass, because if they played last year, well, Morgan probably would not have been there, and that's perfectly okay, but it would have been a whole different Oprah. Goals, you get a goal, everybody gets goals. Yep. It would have been an entirely different situation, which I would have loved to have seen, but this is the world we're in.
Other
How much
side
do
of
we
the-
think?
Oh.
I mean, how much do we think the absence of crowds makes a difference? Because you were saying last month the US team were playing much better. Admittedly, they were at home. They were in Connecticut, I think, twice.
Oh, the crowds are
Without
huge.
having any crowd, I think they have a big game squad.
I'm not going to tell you what I thought you said.
I thought so too. That's what I thought too. I think the lack of a crowd was painful, but it's like, well, the rain affected us. Everybody's got to deal with the rain and the crowds.
Yeah.
It's, the heat, the humidity, it was punishing for everybody. They do draw off their crowds an awful lot, but there's no excuse for the lackluster performance through and through.
No
there just
crowds in
isn't.
there's no
No, I
crowds
was
in
making
practice.
excuses.
Let's flip the other side of the coin. Question number 2. The U.S. men's team beat Mexico 1-0 for the Gold Cup win. Does this game change the World Cup lineup decisions, Mark?
Rob Stone can choke on a sack of balls. How dare he have the audacity to compare the men's program to the women's, regardless of this morning's results? How do you say, oh, they've stepped up and they're assuming the role the women's team has been playing for so long? Fuck you, Rob Stone. Go molest
That's
more
Rob
girls in a
Stone's
bar, you
job.
asshole.
That is his job to do that every single time. He's paid to talk up Daryl DK. He's paid to talk up the program as a whole. I know the question isn't about Rob Stone, but he's doing his job. That's all.
Cards and letters to @themarkvia. Mr.
Four different girls have had to put up with this bullshit.
I'm not editing the show. Chill, Mr. Ballard.
What was the question?
Fuck Rob Stone.
Do you want to fuck Robs? Does the 1-0 win over Mexico, any performance of any of those players, do you think changes the World Cup lineup decisions?
No, I think anybody who was on the fringes is probably still on the fringes. I think someone like Daryl DK is still going to be around. I think it's always nice to win a piece of silverware, even if it seems to get more devalued every time with the Nations League the month before. It's always nice to beat Mexico. My issue with the Gold Cup is the same every time because it's held in the US. It becomes a home tournament, and I think the program would benefit from playing more away games in tougher environments because CONCACAF isn't about playing Trinidad and Tobago at home. It's about going to the places where you have the bubbly, crappy pitches and the referees who don't want you to win, allegedly. And that's where the program's fallen in the past. So TLDR, no, not really.
Hank?
I think Matthew Hoppe make a better forward than John Sargent right now. We'll see. I mean, Sargent's doing well in lower tiers of Bundesliga, but
Is he going to
we'd
get
expect
promoted?
that from.
Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, Hank, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Hoppe made a case for him to be included in the lineup to answer the question.
I think everybody made it. I think everybody made a case to be considered. And if you look at it, it's kind of nice to have some depth, maybe not top-notch level depth, but we have some kids who, given the right circumstances,
Miles Robinson
could step up and ball, which would be good, which is nice to see.
So, I mean, I don't know if he was part of it before, but Miles Robinson had a great series, right? I would say, yes, Miles Robinson is in the selection for the World Cup, at least as an alternate. But again, there's so much, to your point, Mark, there's so much depth now. It would be hard to maybe just take two of those guys and bring them along with you just for the experience.
And who from our A team was Leggett, Jossie?
Leggett's definitely there. Jossie's
No,
still.
but I'm just looking at from our A squad. We had Leggett, Zardis, Areola. And that was it. And Acosta,
yeah, but only now, right? I mean, I think Acosta talked himself back into.
I think that was kind of the name I was angling for. Is I think the way he played in the final kind of definitely got him a standby playing ticket.
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was noticeable. I was just looking at the whole A squad, B squad thing, and how many players we had as opposed to how many players Mexico had from their A squad, and blah blah blah. But it doesn't really matter. Fuck it, we won.
We had intended just to make this a U.S. team, little quickie. Anybody want to throw anything MLS wise? New England.
Yeah, man. That fucking Jeff Bezos looking motherfucker, Bazinga or Zabiga, or that guy sucks as a ref, man. Holy crap. He can eat a bag of dicks all day long. That guy made so many bad calls and so many no calls. And this is coming from a fan of the team that won. That guy was shite.
If the beach was covered in dicks, he'd eat them all for America. Suicide Squad opening on theaters Friday.
Is that a remake of the Suicide Squad from 2 years ago?
Not.
Okay.
No, the same characters. That's another iteration.
Yes.
I thought they all died in the last movie.
No.
All right. Okay.
Suicide Squad doesn't die.
No.
Okay.
Hank's New England Revolution still top of the league table, 36.
Playing
Seattle,
really well
Seattle
right
and Kansas City both lost this weekend, so they sit 32 and 30 respectively. However, Orlando 28 points, Nashville 27 points, New York City 26. Those are three teams that first of all, we don't ever talk about on this show because we only cover the same four teams. And we do the same three jokes every week. But I got to say, Nashville's 6-0-5 at home. Of course, they're 0-1-4 on the road. But that's a team that's not getting any news, any pub. And they've just
lost their. I mean, how long is Zimmerman out? Zimmerman's gonna be out for a while, right?
Yeah. I mean, Soccer Moses can't step in for him, so we'll see what happens there.
No.
So, and we look in the West. Mark's LA Galaxy sitting third at 28. Colorado.
Is Richard Pepe still a member of the Dallas team there?
Huh?
Richard Pepe. When are they going to sell him?
Ricardo Pepe. Oh, no kidding. Colorado sitting fourth at 27 points, but they've only played 15 games, so keep an eye out there because they are getting hot at the right time. Hank's aforementioned FC Dallas sitting 10th with 17 points. Ricardo Pepe with a hat trick.
Again.
Which led to FC Dallas Twitter to explode with, when will he be sold? Paxton
I apologize to Ricardo.
Paxton Pomacall with a goal this week at Kansas City. They were expecting him to be sold. We kept saying, when's Kai Kamara going to show up? And where is it going to be? And we kept saying, well, Dallas will be
Helsinki.
Fit. Not anymore.
Sweden.
What? He signed
somewhere? Helsinki in Sweden. No, is that a different Helsinki that I don't know
Helsinki's Norway, right?
Nah, it's just fucking
Finland.
around.
Not Finland?
It's Finland.
Helsinki's
yeah.
Finland?
I honestly thought you were messing around.
I thought you were doing the
thought he was doing a bit.
Helsinki syndrome.
I heard you.
As in Helsinki, Sweden.
Is that like a minor version of Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah.
It's not as bad. Anybody want to throw anything in there? I was going to cut it short and get it out of here. Soccer related?
Oh, no.
No, I had a rant I wanted to go on, but now's not the time. There was something I was thinking about. I don't remember what it was. Never.
And you know what? Nick's going to message me now. You should have let Mark go off in his rant.
I don't remember
for
what
the same
it was.
reason I'm not letting Mark tell the joke they told in the car. Hank.
Okay.
You want to throw anything in before we go?
At Hisco5 on Twitter.
There you go. Mr. Ballard.
Chris J. Ballard on Twitter. I would also like to add that mosquitoes can go suck a bag of dicks because they apparently eat me alive.
Are you O positive blood type?
No, I'm A plus. But
interesting. Okay.
But I must have 50 bites from yesterday. You could, if you wanted to, you could get a Sharpie and you could connect all the bites, and you get a pretty good drawing of a bald, slightly overweight dude.
Okay.
The bell end.
Yeah.
Look on site, the bugbite.thingy.com. It's this little suction thing you put on your arm. It looks like a syringe, but it's empty, and it, in theory, sucks the venom from bug bites out. And
if anybody's looking for suction pumps, Mark,
it actually works pretty well. My wife bought one.
Those kinds of things aren't my bag.
That's
baby.
not my bag. That's right.
And it worked pretty well. At the Mark Via on the Twitter, Fat Kid Netscapes on OnlyFans. Yeah, that's it for me.
Did you find? You laugh.
Fat Kid
Whatever.
Nutscapes on OnlyFans. I haven't posted anything yet because I'm trying to find the right size tripod for the view underneath.
Anybody see this? That is
God.
the OnlyFans sign up page that Mark sent me.
Oh my
Fat Kid
God.
_ Nutscapes on OnlyFans.
And I was to get paid to send people pictures that,
Yep.
that they want to see.
Just got to find the right height tripod.
I mean, everybody
Nope.
has a niche, I suppose.
Yeah, selfie stick. Yeah, in the non-straight community, fat guys are not a dime a dozen. We can be loved.
No, they're not.
So, I'm not necessarily a bear, but hey, otters could dig me. You never know.
You probably do.
Some sideball shots, a little neck shot here and there,
Just
lots of
stop.
nutscapes.
It reminds me of the
Good.
old Family Guy bit. Guillermo sweaty. That's my side boob. Guillermo sweaty. All right. At Top of the Table TV on Twitter. No, but nobody's listening to this. We have, I think, the most views we've gotten on YouTube, by the way, was 8. None of them.
Wait, no, talk about the Nigerians. Talk about the Nigerians.
We're done. Mark's got somebody has a Zoom call at 8.
I have a
Or-
Zoom.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, Brian's got a
officiating
Zoom.
I'm officiating a wedding in October, and I have to have a Zoom call with the bride in 15 minutes.
Talk about crushed velvet.
Yeah, this will be in the text string later. Top of the table.tv. If anybody cares to look at this car wreck, can follow along. Hashtag Happy Balache Bellend. HAPPYBALLACH
Balosh.
I'm expecting 0 responses to that. At Brian Bentley on Twitter and Instagram. Nobody cares. That's it. Thanks for joining us. Top of the Table. We'll see you all next week. Aloha.